And a good morning to you. Welcome back to another edition of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW for this Thursday morning. Later on, we're going to talk to Tony Stamas from the Midland Business Alliance. And at 11 o'clock this morning, Auburn Community Outreach will be the subject of focus. But for this hour, I'm Art Lewis from my Saginaw Spirit Home studio, and we're going to talk about the region, the business climate in the region, and maybe a few other topics too with our special guest this morning. He heads up the Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance, and we say good morning to Matt Felan. Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Good to see you today.
Yeah, good to see you too. We're both on video. You can watch us in the usual places. I think, it's been a while since we talked about the organization itself. Give everyone an idea of how the Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance came about and what it does.
Sure. So in the mid-2000s, I think the leaders in Bay, Saginaw, and Midland County really kind of recognized that we were being a little too parochial, that for whatever reason, we were letting imaginary gray dots that separated the counties impact us way too much. And I think folks realized at that time that if we were really going to look at our future and future prosperity, that, all boats were going to rise together, right? And at the time, leaders in our chambers of commerce and economic development and tourism, healthcare, some of our major corporations kind of came together and said, hey, we got to start working together a little bit more closely, and we really need to re-identify ourselves as a region. And I think that was really kind of the great starting point, Art, was, the rebranding of the region from really what was the Tri-Cities moniker to the Great Lakes Bay region. I mean, that was really kind of the big start, and it kind of led us to where we are today. But that really was the genesis.
And so we now have this organization, Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance. What does it do?
Yeah, it's always interesting because, when you go back to that formation, Art, and just looking at the name, I think is important for a quick second is, why did we become the Great Lakes Bay region? Why did we stop becoming the Tri-Cities? And there were a few pieces that really kind of came about. The first was we'd lost the name of the airport. We were Tri-City Airport, but there was a Tri-City Airport in Tennessee, and it was causing some confusion with some flights. So they said, hey, you have to rebrand to MBS. And then, they're like, okay, well, are we going to be the MBS region? That doesn't really seem great. And then they were like, okay, let's be the Saginaw Valley region. And people in Bay and Midland were like, well, we don't know if we love that. And then they were like, hey, let's be the Saginaw Bay region. And the folks in Midland were like, what about us? And so I give them credit. I was actually out of state at the time. And so they rebranded Great Lakes Bay region really for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's not so geographically specific as Tri-Cities, right? Now our folks in Frankenmuth and Freeland and Coleman and Linwood and Beconning feel included. But secondly, it was genius because folks love to come to Michigan. Folks from Ontario and across the Midwest, they love coming here. And suddenly when you look up Great Lakes in Michigan, one of the first things you'll find is our CVB. And people will learn a lot more about our area. So, I think the other point before I talk about what we do as an organization was really that rebranding. It never comes to a vote to the people. It's not something that happens through a formal process. It's when like-minded folks and leaders in the communities come together and say, hey, here's what we need to do. And I think before we get into what we do, that's important because the rebranding has been highly successful over the course of the last 10 to 12 years.
And, it has worked out, no doubt about it. But I do remember in the beginning, a lot of people were saying, well, yeah, it's a great name, but it doesn't say anything. Where are we? Where is the Great Lakes Bay region? If you go on a map, you're not going to see it. Where is it?
Yeah,
that was always a question, but we seem to have gotten beyond that.
It has, but I'll tell you, we're always mindful of that. So, you ask what we do. One of the things we do is work with all of our partners in economic development to find investment opportunities here in the region where companies that are either here and can expand their operations or new companies coming in from the outside. We're always working to attract new business here. And one of the conversations that we've had over the course of the last years, Great Lakes Bay region has to say more than that. So one of the taglines we're using now is Great Lakes Bay region, Michigan centered, so that people, at least when we're recruiting companies, understand, oh, Michigan centered, it's in the center of Michigan. That says a little bit more. We put it out with the map that really kind of shows where we're at. And now folks have a much better idea of, oh, okay, that's where the Great Lakes Bay region is. That's what it is. So there's always kind of two audiences that we look at, Art, is that internal audience for people that live here. I think people that live here, to your point, have really accepted Great Lakes Bay region. There are companies, nonprofits, you name it. The Great Lakes Bay region brand has exploded here. But our second audience is that outside audience. And how do we get them to better understand what our region is and who we are? And really adding that Michigan centered, I think, has made a pretty big difference so that people understand it much better.
So if I were to say to you, Matt, that the Alliance is an economic development organization, would that be too limiting?
It would. I would say that our number one goal is region building. And that's important because if you look at what's currently happening in the economy, the biggest thing that's impacting anyone, Art, is talent. People need talent. They need employees. They need workers. And I don't care if it's a company here or a company from another part of Michigan or from around the world. If they're going to look to invest and build any kind of facility, the first question they're always asking is about talent. They're not asking about the land. They're not asking about incentives. Those aren't the first questions. Those come further down. The very first thing they want to know is, do you have people? And the reality is there is no way that you can answer that question unless you do it regionally. It's about a regional workforce or a regional labor shed. And that really can extend all the way from Clare, Gladwin to Gratiot, Saginaw, up to Aranac Bay, our kind of 8 counties. Headlights move in every single direction every day. And so for us, I would say that region building is first and foremost. And the number one thing that we work on and are focused on and has been is talent, because without talent, you can't do anything else after.
It almost seems, to be I'm looking for a word here, but it almost seems to be a bit of a quagmire in that you want companies to come here and they want to know about talent in a state which has seen a tremendous amount of talent skip town and head south.
Yep.
So when a company comes to you and says, well, we need X number of employees, what do you tell them? I mean, do we have an available talent pool here that we can draw from?
You know what, Art, that is a question that I love, because I think there's a little bit of a misconception about that, because I think we automatically think about who's in the existing workforce when we think about available talent. But the reality is, and this is where thinking regionally, I think, really changes the perspective. If you look at our community, we are a college community. We're really college towns, but the region still has to adapt to that and think about it differently. And here's where I'm going with this. If you look at what we're home to, Central Michigan University, Saginaw Valley State University, Northwood University, Davenport, Delta College, Mid-Michigan, the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribal College, the MSU Supply Chain Program in Midland, we're home to 50,000 college students. We have talent. The talent sits in this region every single day. And what's great, it gets replaced every year. Now take that with the talent we already have here and some of the job training programs that you'll find through Delta and Mid-Michigan in coordination with Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works. We have talent here. Our job is we need to give a much better reason for these students who come from Chicago or Detroit or downstate and come to school here, more reasons to stay here when they graduate. And so we have amazing opportunities in front of us. And when you link it with where the economy is going and where the jobs of the future are going to be, we have some great opportunity, but we have to link the tool of higher education with economic development to figure out how we put those two together and bring more meaningful jobs to the region.
All right, hang on. We'll talk more about it. We're talking to Matt Felan from the Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance, and we will be back with more here on WSGW after these notes.
At Wildfire Credit Union, loan rates are low and cash is back. Borrow for the things you want, consolidate high-interest credit cards, or refinance a loan and watch your monthly payments go down. We have members who save thousands of dollars. You can save too and get cash back. It's easy to open a new loan or move an existing one to Wildfire. Just call, click, or come by any Wildfire branch in Saginaw or Bay City and ask for cash back now through the end of August. We've got great rates and personalized solutions for your borrowing needs. Save money with lower monthly payments. Plus, get cash back.
It's coming back round again. Cash is back. Tell a friend. It's coming back.
Wildfire Credit Union. Distinctively better.
Cash is back. Tell a friend.
New loans only, subject to credit approval, equal housing lender.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, retirement, savings, and most importantly, their children. We're the partner our clients count on. If we can be of help to you, give us a call.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Detroit area attorneys, a partner Mencken and Ann Arbor. CordellCordell.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
First-time weekly jobless claims are up. The Labor Department reporting 200,000 people filed first-time unemployment claims last week, up 19,000 from the prior week. The department releases the jobs report for April tomorrow. The ADP National Employment Report says the U.S. added 240. OPEC and its oil-producing allies decide to stick with a modest increase in production. The move comes despite oil prices rising as the European Union considers cutting off Russian energy imports. The cartel agreeing to boost production by 432,000 barrels per day starting next month. Netflix investors filing a class action lawsuit against the streaming giant. The plaintiffs claim Netflix made false or misleading statements about its business, operations, and prospects after reporting a loss of 200,000 subscribers. Netflix expects to lose another 200,000 in the second quarter. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Steve Rappaport, invested in you.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation's 9/11 Never Forget mobile exhibit is a tribute to lives on September 11th, 2001, or from 9/11 related illnesses. This high-tech 83-foot tractor trailer transforms into an 1,100 square foot exhibit, a tool to educate people about 9/11. Visit it in a city near you and join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
Annette Glenn believes defunding police is radical and dangerous. Michigan's murder rate, 14th highest in the nation. Violent crime, above the national average. Annette Glenn backed more funding for police to keep us safe. Paid for by Annette Glenn for State Senate.
Welcome to retirement. Now, replace your paycheck. To local financial coach Kevin Ray, this is what retirement planning is all about.
Building monthly paychecks. And how you build those monthly paychecks is going to determine how well in retirement you're going to enjoy it. So framework, and it starts with income.
So build your framework with Kevin and the team at Insight Folios today by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Line drive hooking down the left field line. That's going to get into the corner. Hill around third. He will score without a throw. Into second goes Robbie Grossman. We're tied at 2.
The Tigers play 7:50 tonight. News Radio WSGW.
And we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show as we talk to Matt Felan from the Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance. He's also a Bay City School Board member. We'll talk about that later. So I want to go back just for a minute, Matt, before we look at the business climate in the area and how we're doing. I want to talk a little bit more about labor because it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm misreading this, that it's one thing to tell companies we have this great pool of student labor coming up that's going to be available. But we have companies right here in our area right now dying to hire. Where are the people?
Yeah, it's been hard. COVID has definitely changed the complete shape of the labor force, or what we're used to. A lot of folks left kind of the labor force to a certain extent. How people want to work has changed. The working from home is both of us are today, right?
Yep.
It looks very different than it used to, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, if you had told, WSGW, hey, you're just going to work from home like this, or myself, who, we do some shared office space and work from home and split that time, everyone would have thought we were out of our minds that this is how the workforce was going to look. So I think to a certain extent we're adapting. I do think we're starting to see more people re-enter the workforce now. Now that a lot of the funding from the last couple of years that some folks were able to take advantage of has ceased, I think more people are coming out. I think just the others that maybe were really concerned about the pandemic and decided not to work or to do something different are feeling more comfortable. So I think the labor force is going to continue to adapt and get back to where we need it to a certain extent. But Art, you bring up, I think, a more important point, which is, do we in education, and this is, the Alliance, we've done a lot of work in STEM education. Right. We're actually hosting a massive international STEM conference in the region in June. Are we training our students and our next generation of workforce to understand what skills are needed to work in Industry 4.0 and into the jobs of the future that are just different than what existed in generations past?
There's an interesting headline I pulled off of one of the sources I use for news. Over 50% of workers say they would take a pay cut to avoid returning to the office full time. And couple that with there's a movement coming out of Europe for a 4-day work week.
Mm-hmm.
Life is changing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think to a certain extent, that's it's important to listen to what people want or what they're saying. I think for a long time, we've kind of had this, we have to work as hard as we can every single second. And if we don't, others will get ahead of us. And I think maybe some are learning that the flexibility is creating a happier employee, that the work-life balance that I think so many really crave has become elevated in the discussion. And, there's kind of some, when bad things happen, right? Like COVID, there can be some good unintended consequences. And I think this is some unintended consequences that are going to prove to be valuable, in that it was probably time for us to look at changing how we've done things literally for decades and allowing a different type of workforce. And I will say it can be really unfair, because if you're a nurse, you're not getting that flexibility. If you're a teacher, you're not getting that flexibility. Police officer, firefighter, there are certain things that are just not going to have that type of flexibility. But the reality is there are a lot of jobs that can. And it's, it was time for us to be shaken and to reevaluate. I can tell you, even with my team, if Fridays in the summer, in July and August, if it's 80 degrees plus and sunny, I really hope you work your 40 hours Monday through Thursday, and you can go take that long weekend and enjoy it, because we don't have enough of those Fridays in the summer that you should be stuck in an office setting, responding to emails. Wake up in Petoskey overlooking Lake Michigan with your computer and do a few in the morning, and then go enjoy the day with your family. And I think that kind of mentality is really where a lot of folks are now, and want to see that work-life balance.
The only last question on this whole labor thing. When I grew up, and I'm not sure how it was in your household, but when I grew up, my father drilled into my head work ethic. I graduated high school very young at 16. The day I graduated high school, I got home, and on the dining room table were my work papers in New York City and the address of the job my dad had gotten for me. There was no loafing. You worked, and nobody owed you anything. You earned a living. I'm not sure that's happening as much today. That the work ethic is being lost a little bit.
It's interesting, because we talk about that work ethic and what it means. But if you look, let's just use manufacturing and agriculture as an example. Those were industries where that work ethic was so important because you needed thousands of people, right? Let's just look at a family farm. Back in the 1950s, 60s, in order to harvest a crop, we didn't even have the amount of workers that we needed here. So we would bring in large migrant populations to help the farms. Now a small family of 4 or 5 people with the technology of today, with the combines, with how they can work on the fields, the harvest looks very different. You do not need the same number of people. So the work ethic, in my mind, also needs to adapt to where the jobs are and how they're done. And so the work may be not as much as physical labor as we used to do because we've become so much more efficient. But how do you use your mind? How do you use science, technology, engineering, math, those skills that are moving so much of the economy? The work ethic's just going to potentially look a little bit different as we move forward. Now, granted, you're still going to need those values that we grew up with, and that needs to come from the home, and we have to always encourage that. But the work that's actually done looks so much different than it used to. Like I talk about Industry 4.0, the future of manufacturing, you go into these facilities, they are so sparkling clean and so automated, and it's everything's just different. And how do we keep up with that moving economy? And that's just a different mindset that we're still getting used to.
Well, first you have to have the will to work, and then you have to have the skills for the job.
No question.
No question. All right, hang on. When we come back, I promise we're going to talk about the health of the business community in the Great Lakes Bay region with Matt Felan here on the Art Lewis Show on WSGW.
Quality products at very competitive prices. That's the way we've done business for decades at Abley Greenhouse and Garden Center. Hi, I'm Matt Bouvet. When you plant with us, you get the best plants, expert advice, and affordable price. That's why your mom and dad, or even grandparents, started their spring with a visit to see us. Prices? We always have weekly specials on annuals, decorative pots filled with the best in plants, as well as nursery stock. Shop around, and you'll see our selection is reasonably priced to fit needs and your budget. Look for weekly specials at ableygreenhouse.com. Like us on Facebook and Twitter, too. It's that easy. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Plan to plant with us this spring at Abley Greenhouse and Garden Center on Wadsworth, near the freeway, Saginaw. See us today.
How do you make the most of your land? Everyone has their way. The Nelsons depend on their John Deere Gator XUV 835R to get
from point A to point B with decoys and the dogs.
As much as we've got going on, it's all about efficiency.
And if you ask the Mosers what they use their Gator XUV 590M for, they'll tell you.
The most fun we have on the Gator is just ripping around the property.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. Learn how to make the most. Nothing runs like a deer.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
Prevnar 20, because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital. Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
My plans. So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681.
Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself or direct it yourself this weekend on the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturday mornings at 9. W.
Broadcasting from the premier kitchen and bath Design Center Studios. This is WSGW.
And we're back on the Art Lewis Show talking to Matt Felan, who heads up the Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance. So, here's the question. How's the Alliance doing? How's the region doing? How is business doing in the region?
You know, I got to give business credit. They really withstood here in this region during the COVID pandemic. You know, if you look at some of the other companies and across the country, they really suffered. Some of the things that we do here because of, you know, just their uniqueness during COVID have really thrived. So you always have to start with Dow when you're in this region, right? If you look at Dow's had a couple very good years through COVID. Their products have been in great need. And the timing of the Dow-DuPont merger and then the separation into the new Dow, the new DuPont, and Corteva really put them in such a better position to be able to weather what happened in COVID. And so they've thrived. I mean, you know, been looking at the stock even in the last week. It's, you know, approaching some highs. It's doing really well. But I think the leadership inside Dow did a great job of getting out of so many different markets and really kind of understanding, you know, what the next 50 years needed to look like. So Dow was in a great position and I think really did well through COVID, which was great. If you look at agriculture, you know, Michigan Sugar had some banner years during COVID, especially that first year. Everyone retreated into the kitchen and started baking and needed sugar. And, you know, the sugar industry did exceptionally well during that time. So there were definitely some features of our economy that did well. But like anyone else, you know, there were other areas, you know, you and I have been involved with the CVB for a long time. Gosh, I felt miserable for our, you know, hotel industry, our restaurants, all the pieces that come around tourism. But I give everyone credit. They persevered. The programs that like PPP, those loans were incredibly important to our small businesses, to our restaurants, to our hotels. Those areas really got decimated. But Art, if you really want to know, you know, what does the business climate look like and where are we at? We have some really good pieces in place. We just have to figure out how to capitalize over the course of the next generation. So examples, Michigan is going to be home to that revolution, the next revolution of auto, which is twofold. Number one, it's going to be electric. And number two, it's going to be automated. And our proximity to Detroit, the silicones that Dow provides, where they're at. If you look now, a company like SK Siltron in Bay City in the old Horak building, and the silicone wafers they're going to be doing on electric vehicles, what Nextier is doing on the steering system of automated vehicles. We have a lot of great pieces and industries in place that align with that. How do we help those companies grow? What contracts are they going to be able to garner? And then it goes back to everything that we've talked about since the start of this. Do we have the talent needed to work in these industries to help them grow? That is one example. If you look at the future of Michigan's economy, the U.S. economy, we should be right in the heart of it and play a big role, and a lot of opportunities to have our existing companies grow, but I think to bring in others around it as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation. We just had a conversation the other day with someone about the General Motors plant in Saginaw building engine blocks, for example. What are they going to be doing when EVs take over? Is there a chance to convert that plant into some kind of supply chain for EVs? And it's certainly something that's being looked at, isn't it? It has to be.
Oh, there's no question. I think, folks saw a few months ago, General Motors made its biggest investment in the state of Michigan history all around the electric vehicle industry. And if you look at what's going on, especially through Metro Detroit, they're running out of talent. They're running out of available plants and available places. So who are going to be the next ones to win? What you want to see are Flint, Lansing, and us, Saginaw, Bay City, and others. We should have a future in it, and I hope we do, because of companies like Nextier, because of companies like SK Siltron, Hemlock Semiconductor, what Dow does with the legacy Dow Corning silicone industry. We have a lot of pieces. We've been involved in companies like Exalt in the battery industry. There are pieces we have in place, and I think there's some great potential. And we're going to be on those lists as more expansions and more opportunities present themselves.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back. I want to take Matt's Alliance hat off and put on a couple of different ones. He's got enough of them. And we will be back with Matt Felan right after these notes.
Hemlock Public School District is proud to announce they are the innovative in 2022. This vibrant school community offers engagement in extracurricular activities from sports, drama, fine arts, robotics, and more. Hemlock Public Schools is a leader in innovation, collaboration, and education with programs from the cradle to early middle college. Call us today at 989-642-5282. That's 642-5282 or Hemlock Public Schools, excellence in education. Enroll today.
These days, it's getting harder and harder to find savings. But you may have more cash than you realize in your home's equity. Unlock it today with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage. In the last year, gone up nearly 20%. That means you could unlock thousands of dollars from your home. And with Rocket Mortgage, you could get all that cash in as little as 3 weeks. Put your hard-earned money to work. Pay down high-interest debt and combine your balances into one simple, low monthly payment. Now is your perfect opportunity to take control of your financial future. So what are you want to consolidate debt and simplify your finances? Rocket can. Call 8338-ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures.
Okay, let's start unloading the sod over here.
The grass is always greener when Haruka's Lawn Care does the mowing.
And then we want to get the flower bed started before lunch.
They need a new landscaping designer to keep their budding business growing.
Oh, can we double check the incline here? This one needs to drain this way.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instant candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Cards issued by Celtic Bank, member FDIC. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's credit cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.3% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/join. ramp.com/join.
WSGW is your station for the Tigers.
Ground ball broken bad, and that ball is going to get into left field. A base hit. Castro will score coming home. Baez, he will score standing up. Meadows squeezed it into left field. Flying to right center and sliding to make the catch is Austin Meadows.
Tigers baseball brought to you in part by
Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery in Midland.
Lingle Equipment Company.
Stan's Gold Mine.
Your home for the Tigers is WSGW.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, the Biden administration says it has no idea how the border crisis got going. Is that true what you just said, David?
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
Right, back with you. We're talking to
spring. You think spring
my fat fingers at work when they shouldn't be. We're talking about Felan, who heads up the Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance, but he also wears a couple of the hats. Member of the Bay City School Board. And also, and this is for another day, but Matt was a major fundraiser for political candidates across the country at one time in his life. And someday we're going to sit down, Matt, and talk about the business of politics, not the philosophies of politics, but the business of politics. But I want to turn our attention to something a little more local, very much in the news. The Bay City schools have put out for referral for proposals transportation. What brought that about?
Sure. So I want to preface by saying, I don't speak on behalf of the district or the board itself. I can only speak as one individual school board member. But I got to tell you, it's been a challenging time to get bus drivers and to have the employees, same labor issues, the employees you need in order to get kids just not to and from school. That was definitely an issue, and it was a big issue at the start of the school year. But the secondary issue is we do quite a bit when the school day ends. So I don't care if it's athletics or academic extracurriculars, we always need to transport students. And it's a heck of a challenge right now. So we asked our administration, hey, what are our options? What's available on what we can do to make sure that we have the staff necessary to run our bus department. So they wanted to look at the options. And so they put out an RFP to figure out, okay, if we win a different option in a different route, what would it look like? And so we heard those proposals Monday night, and I think we got a good sense. But I can only speak for myself. I can tell you at the end of the day, I don't believe the issue is our current bus driver contract. I don't believe it has anything to do with our current group of bus drivers. I think they're doing incredible work. I think what we need to do is think differently and maybe do some things differently and go outside the box of what we're doing. And it could be anything from looking at the pay of what we're paying bus drivers. Potentially, there are some that can only work 30 hours a week due to Social Security, but there are others that would gladly like to get to 40 hours a week. How can we make this how do we make this a career for some folks rather than just a job? And so again, with that changing labor force and changing the way things are, we have to think about things differently. So, while I appreciate the options, at the end of the day, I think, at least from my perspective, I'm going to look at those current options and say, no, thank you. Let's recognize the value and importance of the work that our current bus drivers are doing, and let's get them help and not upend their entire life as they know it. And so always good to see the options, but it doesn't mean you have to take them, Art.
Any time frame?
I think we're going to move pretty quickly. I think we want the bus drivers to at least understand where they're headed. They're currently under a current contract. So I would hope on Monday that we can get a little bit of this behind us. But I do think there may be still some other options we want to look at, but they won't be options that fully privatize the district and take us to a new company. I'm hoping that they remain, employees and part of their current union contract with Bay City Public Schools, but maybe we find other ways to bring in extra drivers, to look at some of the management pieces with companies that do have some expertise and ability to get more charter buses and pieces in place. I'll tell you, the issue's been so this isn't a contentious issue. This is just a difficult issue because you want to provide the kids with the service they need. After Monday night's board meeting, one of the bus drivers grabbed me in the hall and said, "Hey, you should come on a bus run and see what it's like." So I'll tell you what, Art, yesterday morning, 5:30 in the morning, I jumped on a yellow school bus and did a run for 4 hours. And I met with mechanics and I got to talk to several drivers, and I spent a full morning with the one driver and really got to see firsthand what it's like, what they do, how the timing goes. And so I think at the end of the day, the exercise is still important because it's bringing up an issue that we need to discuss in more detail and look at in more detail and help everyone involved, whether it's families that have to depend on the busing, their extracurriculars, or the staff itself. It's at least making this a core issue that we're looking at closer than we would have otherwise.
So let's put that aside for a minute. What's the educational health of the district right now? How's it doing?
The educational health is good. I give everyone credit because, students, I don't care if it's in our region, my district, across the state, they've kind of gone through heck and back with having to deal with the COVID restrictions and masks at certain times and going remote and in person. Considering it all, I will tell you what, I've been really impressed with the resiliency of kids. I've been impressed with the resiliency of the teachers. We've had what I consider to be a pretty normal year at Bay City Public this year. We've been able to keep the kids in school, and you can see things getting back on the right track. But again, I think we have to look towards the future and say, what are some things that we can do differently? And so in the next years, you're going to see a really big change at Handy as an example. There's going to be a new curriculum, a new tech style of learning. We're going to bring in more project-based learning. We're going to abandon traditional A through F grading. Kids are going to be working a lot more on collaborative projects, hands-on projects, learning in a way that I think matches more of what the workforce is looking for and what the workforce needs, right? We're trying to adapt as a public school to what employers need. And I think that's going to be a big change. So it's always a daring move when you change traditional education, but those are the type of things you need to do, I think, to be competitive as we move forward and to really listen to employers in the workforce of what kind of employees do you need. So we're looking forward to some of these big programs here in the years ahead.
Yeah, we spend so much time pushing higher education. Sometimes we forget in order to get to higher education, you have to have that foundation under you. You have to have the basics. Otherwise, you can't deal with what you're going to find when you get to higher education.
Yeah, there's no question. I got to tell you, I'm going to use a bad term, but the game, right? I hate the game. Are we worried about a kid getting a grade, or are we worried about a kid learning? And, I think Michigan State, I give them credit as an example. I don't know if you saw it, but they're dropping their ACT, SAT requirement over the course of the next 5 years. And they're examining whether it's necessary, because why are the kids so focused and stressed out on taking a test on one Saturday morning that just gives one little snippet of their actual ability? Let's focus on the learning and quit focusing on every last grade and what the GPA point is and what tests you got to take. Let's learn content and let's get kids ready for the workforce. Let's quit some of the games and let's focus on giving people a living and a life instead of just worrying about a grade.
Well, that's been, one of the digs against schools is they've been teaching to the test rather than the subject, so to speak. So
yeah, and that gets back to the dirty word of politics.
Yeah,
we got to loosen up some of those restrictions in Lansing to let the teachers teach, let the kids learn. And there's a lot of days my kids going and like, oh, there's another test today, and they don't love it. They would much rather learn something.
Yeah. Well, Matt, look, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning and allowing me to drag you onto other things. As you know, I always will. And we will have to do that, the business of politics, sometime in the near future.
We should warn everyone so that they can take a few days to exhale before we get into it. But it isn't it an expensive, lucrative business? So yeah, look forward to that conversation.
All right, my friend. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks, Art. Take care.
Bye now. Matt Felan, he is the head of the Great Lakes Bay Regional Business Alliance, and we're going to take a break, come back, and close out.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me 65 or older. You may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for the Frankenmuth Aerial Park. You are going to get a 2-hour session at the Frankenmuth Aerial Park for only $21. It's usually $42, but you are getting it half off. This includes a 2-hour weekday or weekend session. And it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a pro. There is a course level that's going to fit you. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You know you can hear my outdoor magazine show Sunday mornings, 9 till noon on WSGW. But now there's another option. Saturday morning, 6 till 9. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information, hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
All right. That'll do it for the first hour. We thank Matt Felan for being with us. Tony Stamas from the Midland Business Alliance will be with us. It's Small Business Month. We're going to talk about small business and how they're surviving in our area. All of that is ahead this morning on WSGW.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton. This is CBS, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We found out this morning COVID deaths around the world are believed to be much higher than reported so far. Correspondent Linda Kenyon has the details.
The World Health Organization says nearly 15 million people have been killed by COVID or by its impact on an overwhelmed healthcare system worldwide. That figure is more than double the official death toll estimate of 6 million. And experts say the death toll could be much higher than 15 million due to undercounted deaths around the world. In India alone, it's estimated as many as 3 million deaths have gone on.
In the U.S. are nearing the 1 million mark. A new survey shows parental burnout has soared since the start of the pandemic. It's personal for Dr. Kate Golick, an associate professor of clinical nursing and a mom of 4 young kids.
I'm not depressed. I'm not anxious. I'm like, what is it? And I heard that term and I was like, that's it.
Research from the Ohio State College of Nursing finds 2 out of 3 parents meet the criteria for parental burnout, 83%. Officials in Ukraine say at least 25 civilians have been wounded in Russian shelling in eastern Kramatorsk, the same city where dozens were killed in a missile strike on a train station last month. Correspondent Deborah Pata is in Ukraine.
The harder Russia flexes its military muscle, the harder Ukrainians fight back. And they've been joined by American fighters like Manus, blinded by shrapnel.
I can take it. I'm young. I'm a man. I'm strong. It's the kids and the old people who I really worry about.
In Washington, more fencing went up overnight around the Supreme Court as groups both for and against abortion rights continue for this week's leak of a draft opinion from February published by Politico suggesting justices will vote to overturn Roe v. Wade. Amber Heard expected back on the stand in Virginia this hour, a day after she testified she was physically abused during her marriage to Johnny Depp.
And slams me up by my neck and holds me there for a second and tells me that he could kill me.
The actor is suing his ex for libel. A week after a Tennessee lawmaker called for a book burning, the Nashville Public Library wants people to do the opposite. Spokesman Ed Brown says they're offering an I Read Banned Books library card.
We're not pushing back against these decisions. We want to be an alternative to say you may not be able to get it there, but you can get it here.
The Dow is down 505 points now. This is CBS News.
Find your next great hire with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
ServiceMaster by Fuson, your fire, water, and storm damage restoration experts. Did you know if your home or business has experienced damages of any kind, whether it be from a fire, flood, or smoke, it's crucial that you get the quality, timely restoration services you need so that you can quickly get back to normal. With 24 ServiceMaster by Fuson offers commercial and residential restoration services. Visit ServiceMasterByFuson.com or call them at 989-200-4929. ServiceMaster by Fuson, restoring peace of mind.
This is Larry Rodarte, host of Mi Gente on Air, inviting WSGW listeners to come out and view the Cinco de Mayo parade on Saturday, May 7th. Get your spot early on South Washington Avenue between Hoyt Park and Genesee. The parade starts at 10:30 a.m. Then join us for great Mexican food, fun, and music at Jolt Credit Union Event Park. Listen to the Tejano sounds of Latin Grammy Award-winning artist Michael Salgado. Celebrate the return of Saganaw's Cinco de Mayo.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
As a parent, you know kids are amazing and expensive. But with Fabric, protecting your family with term life insurance is surprisingly affordable with a personalized policy for your family starting at less than $1 a day. And you could be approved instantly, plus no risk, cancel anytime. Secure your family's financial future today at meetfabric.com/future. That's MEET fabric.com/future. Fabric Insurance Agency policies issued by Vantis Life, not available in New York and Montana. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom. This is WSGW News.
It's 52 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Dave Maurer. Experts say the 2020 failure of 2 dams on the Michigan River was foreseeable and preventable. A 5-member panel The Regulatory Commission released a report yesterday that said the disaster resulted from flaws in the design and construction of the Edenville Dam in the 1920s, along with operation and maintenance shortcomings over the years. Thousands of people were evacuated and 150 homes were destroyed in Sanford and Midland, with damages exceeding $200 million. The Michigan Supreme Court heard arguments involving defendants in the Flint water crisis. Defense lawyers are challenging a method not often used to investigate crimes and file indictments. Governor Rick Snyder and others were indicted by a judge who served as a one-man grand jury in Genesee County. Felonies in Michigan usually have a right to a hearing where they can argue there's not enough evidence for a trial, but the one-person grand jury doesn't allow for that. Defense lawyers claim that's unconstitutional. Saginaw's Alida E. Lutz VA Medical Center will be hosting a nursing job fair on May 19th from 3 to 9 in their pavilion. The VA hospital has immediate openings for registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and certified nursing assistants in several different departments. They'll be conducting on-the-spot interviews and ask that attendees bring a resume, 2 pieces of ID, 3 references, and unofficial transcripts. Pre-registration is preferred, but walk-ins are welcome. You can also email your documents ahead of. Residents of Bay County are being asked to provide input on transportation plans. The Bay City Area Transportation Study is seeking public comment on a proposed transportation improvement program for 2023 through 2026. The program contains a list of proposed projects for road and transit over the next 4 years. Public comment can be made until May 24th by emailing pavoned@baycounty.net or by mail to 515 Center Ave. 48708. A BCAT's public hearing will also take place June 22nd at 1:30 p.m. in the third floor conference room of the Bay County building. A copy of the proposed program can be found online at the Bay County website and at the County Transportation Office. WSGW News Time, 10:07.
Loan rates are low and cash is back. Borrow for the things you want. Consolidate high-interest credit cards, or refinance a loan and watch your monthly payments go down. We have members who save thousands of dollars. You can save too and get cash back. It's coming back, round again. Cash is back. Tell a friend. It's easy to open a new loan or move an existing one to Wildfire. Just call, click, or come by any Wildfire branch in Saginaw, Midland, or Bay City out to the end of August. We've got great rates and personalized solutions for your borrowing needs. Enjoy the things you want. Save money with lower monthly payments. Plus, get cash back. It's coming back, round again. Cash is back. Tell a friend. It's coming back. Wildfire Credit Union. Distinctively better. Cash is back. Tell a friend. New loans only, subject to credit approval, equal housing lender.
WSG 10:08. Midland-based Dow is in 15th place on the 2022 Diversity Inc. Top 50 Companies for Diversity list announced this week. It's the fifth consecutive year that Dow has made the list. Issued annually since 2001, the list recognizes companies with at least 750 employees in the United States for their management of diversity, inclusion, and equity. The list is based on data from a survey with more than 200 questions. In 2021, Dow refreshed the company's inclusion, diversity, and equity strategy, which focused on inclusion, elevating diversity, and embedding equity into practices, policies, and processes. A 26-year-old Calcallan Township man was arrested last Friday for exposing himself in a public park. Police say the man was in a white minivan and pulled into the Monitor Township Park at 4585 3 Mile Road around 1:50 p.m. A witness told police a man opened the van's sliding door himself. The incident allegedly took place in view of 4 or 5 children. The witness was able to provide police with a license plate number. They arrested the man around 2:25 after making a traffic stop at 8 Mile and Seidler's Roads. The suspect will be charged with 1 count of aggravated indecent exposure, though his name is being withheld pending formal arraignment. The state of Michigan announced a new program designed to increase access to financial services for underserved Michiganders. The new initiative offers low-cost bank accounts for Michiganders who are unbanked or underbanked. Here's Anita Fox of Insurance and Financial Services.
The Michigan Open Account Coalition that we are announcing here today was formed earlier this year in order to make sure that banks and credit unions offer accounts that meet the needs of all Michiganders and to educate consumers about the benefits of having a relationship with a financial.
20 banks and credit unions have agreed to participate in the program, offering no overdraft, account activation, closure, or low balance fees, in addition to $3 limits on ATM use fees. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety thinks one of their tests is too easy. Here's Auto Beat reporter Jeff Gilbert.
They're increasing the speeds at which they test automatic emergency braking and also testing how vehicles with the system interact with motorcycles and trucks. Senior research scientist David Kidd says they want to make a good system even better.
We know that cars with AEB systems right now are preventing crashes. Our work shows that AEB rear-end crash rates in half. But with these upgrades to the program, we hope to raise that bar.
The first new test results should be out this summer.
When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It's 10:11. I'm Dave Maurer.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology forecast.
Partial sunshine develops here for today with a high into the mid-60s. Winds out of the east around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy skies, a low around 45. Friday, mostly cloudy, high around 62 degrees. Then by sky conditions, a high around 60. Sunday, sunshine, high around 67. Then by Monday, partly sunny sky conditions, a high around 74. Tuesday, sunshine, high of 82. And Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 83. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 51.
Now, the only show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. And we are going to spend a little time talking about business in Midland with the head of the Midland Business Alliance. And we say good morning to Tony Stamas. Tony, good morning. Are you there?
Can you hear me, Art?
Hey, now I got you. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Art.
I just spent some time last hour talking about Felan, about the region. And one of the things that came up, of course, was labor. And this is a time of year when we celebrate small business. And I have to ask, in Midland, as in other places around the country, how are small businesses doing finding the labor they need to keep their businesses running?
Yeah, they're struggling. I mean, when we talk to small business, frankly, large businesses, talent's the number one issue we hear. And, lots of reasons for it, not unique to Midland or our region. But yeah, I think almost everybody would have that on the top of the list of the challenges they're facing in terms of, and, I think there's excitement that, the world's kind of reopening. I think people are looking forward to a great summer. But, that does challenge capacity. And, we've seen a lot of them have to make adjustments just to kind of recognize the reality.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell people want to get out. You go to the restaurants, particularly on the weekends, they're packed. And sometimes you have to wait a while because they just don't have the labor force. It's going to be a difficult time for business, isn't it? From that standpoint.
It is, and it's, and I think, we think restaurants, but really lots of businesses. I think there's a lot of pent-up demand, people looking to make investment, but, whether you're looking in the construction industry, the restaurant industry, manufacturing, that really presents a challenge. Now, one of the things that, we're trying to do is obviously always tell Midland story, tell the story for the Great Lakes Bay region about why this is a great place to bring people in, keep people here. But I also think, kind of learning best practices, what others are doing, to kind of make adjustments, how they're able to do things maybe differently than they've done them in the past to compensate for that challenge. Because it seems like it's something we've got to keep working on every front possible, but it's not going to be solved overnight.
So, I think if we stopped 10 people or 100 people on the street and said, name a business in Midland, it's going to be Dow. But what's the reality in terms of the impact and importance of small business in a community like Midland?
Well, I had a chance to go down Tuesday night to Michigan Celebrate Small Business, which is a wonderful event they host in East Lansing at the Breslin Center, and it recognizes 50 companies to watch. And we had 2 companies here locally, Creation Coffee, Swiftwall, that were recognized. We had a company that Saginaw had nominated that works on federal contracting that's here in Midland space with the PTAC operation they do, which is just great work. And then we've got our Smart Zone, and we had Agrilytics. So we had 4 small businesses being celebrated. And really what strikes you when you look at those 50 companies, we talked about the number of jobs they create, the investment they create, albeit, throughout the state, maybe not in all 83 counties, but certainly businesses are doing that in all 83 counties. That's exactly what we want. We'd all be kind of doing everything we could to get them here. Well, we've got them here, so how do we help them kind of keep growing and building? That's really that's kind of the lifeblood. And, coming from a small business, we just need to continue to do that, help them to be here, help them to stay, and help that next entrepreneur who's got the great idea or the passion or wants to open a restaurant or, has a tech idea. How do we help them to make sure that they have the opportunity and succeed?
So let's talk about where that help comes from. Describe for us the Midland Business Alliance. Most communities have all kinds of separates. The Chamber of Commerce is separate from this organization and that organization. How did the Midland Business Alliance come about, and what does it represent?
Yeah, I think a number of years ago, we've got so many great community leaders, and they looked at it and said, look, the mission here for economic development for the chamber is the same. We want to help businesses. You do them in different ways. A chamber would traditionally hold events, and you have networking, and you have different resources. We'll do a ribbon cutting, economic development. Okay, let's look at the tools that are available. But really, the mission is the same. And so the goal was this would be, the hub, the one-stop shop for businesses here looking to stay in Midland, to grow in Midland, that face challenges, or to come to Midland. And, I do think that, as we went through the pandemic, the dam breaches, it really has been a proof of concept. We have, kind of been involved in areas we might not have envisioned, but are just critical to our businesses going forward. And so I think that enables us to help. We can't do everything. We partner with some great folks. We work with CMURC on our Smart Zone. We work with SBDC in terms of how businesses can start up. Certainly our university partners, be it Saginaw Valley, Northwood, Central Michigan, Davenport. So we've got great partners. And I also think, going through that pandemic, we work together as a region. I think we've always had a good connection. I mean, we've got great partners in Saginaw and Bay and Isabella, but we had to work together kind of because there was no game plan for a pandemic. And we had to work together. And I think that that's something that we're going to keep building on, and certainly with the Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance as well.
Was it a unique concept, or was it modeled after someplace else, or is it unique to Midland?
Yeah, I think our like that, but it's really a different variation. I mean, you have chambers that, I kind of do visitors and tourism. You have chambers who do DDAs. You have, you have different versions that kind of a lot of economic development work directly with governmental partners. In Michigan, there's a couple others, Southwest Michigan First, Traverse Connect, although their makeup is even different than ours. So it is a bit, I say a bit of a unicorn. But when I look around, when I look at the partnership that Saginaw Chamber and Economic Development side, and certainly over in Bay, I think, sometimes they're separate organizations, but I think that key is just to have that absolute connectivity so that, businesses need the help. They need to be able to go there and help and have, assistance in figuring out what where they can get that assistance.
Yeah, well, in Saginaw, while they don't have a single body organization, they're kind of stacked on top of each other in one building, where you have the CVB and Saginaw Future and the Chamber all together.
Yeah, they're all together, and in Bay, they're right together there in the same office. So I think, it looks different, but I think having that cooperation is what's really key. And I think more and more communities, we'll see it in different ways, but communities know that has to happen.
All right, Tony, hang on. I got to take a break. We're talking to Tony Stamas from the Midland Business Alliance. More ahead.
I'm the first nurse in my family. I started at Wellspring as a certified nursing assistant, and then I went on to nursing. And as I was classes, Wellspring, they helped in any type of way, even with the nurses that were in the facility. They assisted with knowledge and passing things down that sometimes you don't learn in the classroom. It's been a great experience at Wellspring. I'm proud of being a nurse.
Join our team today. Visit wellspringlutheran.com.
Before you dig in Michigan or put a shovel, you gotta call Miss Dig 811. They'll have the pros look around. Before you dig that garden in the sun, keep yourself safe, dial 811. It's a law that keeps you safe and your project sound from all of the dangers that are hidden underground. Keep your digging in Michigan safe and fun. Call Miss Dig 811. Keep digging in Michigan safe and fun. Call Miss Dig 811. Sponsored by Miss Dig 811 and the MAB.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Why would you pay full price when you know you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? Check out our deals going on right now from Salon Blue, Day Spa and Boutique, 120 Fitness, Uplift Creative Center, Woody's Hot Dogs, Wonder Burger, and King's Fish and more. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrab.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street opens in the red, giving back some of yesterday's big gains. The market's flying high after the Federal Reserve raised the key interest rate by 0.5 point. That's the highest increase since the coronavirus struck 2 years ago. The Labor Department reports 200,000 Americans filed first-time jobless claims, 1,000 from the previous week. The department releases the jobs report for April tomorrow. Oil prices continue to rise as the European Union moves closer to banning imports of Russian energy. Crude prices also rocked by lower demand in China because of COVID-19 lockdowns. The volatile market wasn't enough to sway OPEC and their oil-producing allies to ramp up production. Food banks are struggling to keep up with growing demand sparked by higher food prices, forcing households to tighten budgets. Forgotten Harvest, which serves the Detroit metro area, says demand increased 30% in March compared to the previous month. That's your draft report, invested in you.
Economists are warning that sanctions against Russia could trigger devastating inflation, worse than the current 40-year highs. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to protect your savings right now with a gold IRA through Birch Gold, the only company I trust for gold. Just text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get how to protect your savings with gold. Again, text SHELTER to 989898.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
It is Juan moving in right wing, pass across, the score!
I'm Joey Patino of WSGW. On behalf of the Saginaw Spirit, we want to thank our business partners, billet families, season ticket holders, and all fans for supporting Spirit hockey this season. From the players to the president and managing partner, the entire Spirit organization wishes you a safe summer, and we look forward to seeing you again in the fall. Remember, during the off-season, you can stay up to date online by visiting SaginawSpirit.com.
The line drive hooking down the left field line. That's going to get into the corner. Hill around third. He will score without a throw. Into second goes Robbie Grossman. We're tied.
Play 7:50 tonight on 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, talking to Tony Stamas from the Midland Business Alliance. As we, Tony, look around Midland County right now, how is the business health of the community?
Really strong. A lot of challenges, when we talk about talent and, different, when we look in each community, whether it's, childcare, housing, transportation. But what we see here is, businesses seem to be really growing. They recognize there's pent-up demand, just trying to meet that demand. So, certainly in the manufacturing sector, we've had some really significant investment, a lot of interest, people looking at sites that we've got. You always wish you had more open buildings because there's people are looking there. And then, we have our Wake Up Midland. Our next one's tomorrow morning, and we recognize new members. And I think last month we had 15. This month we're going to have about the same. And so I think some folks were kind of waiting, saying, "Okay, let's get through the pandemic." But they were anxious and excited, and so I think it really is a business seems to be very strong, and in kind of a wide variety of sectors, which is also exciting.
Let's talk for a minute about the aftermath of the flood. Sanford, of course, was hit particularly hard. How's the business rebirth doing in Sanford?
I think it's really going well. We've had a number of businesses that we we're partners in terms of rebuilding some buildings, but then a number of new businesses have opened downtown, and I think there's continued interest in that. And so, we've seen that. We had other businesses affected, into Midland, out in the Bullet Creek area, but I think Sanford, there's the community, the surrounding region has rallied, and I think they're saying, okay, how do we build this? How do we build this in a new and exciting way? And I think a lot of leadership, a lot of folks have made that possible. And there's a lot more work to go, but it's really wonderful to see.
So let's look ahead a little bit. What kind of events you have coming up? You mentioned the one tomorrow morning, but what else is ahead?
Well, tomorrow morning, we usually do it over the Great Hall, but tomorrow morning it's baseball season. We're going to be at Dow Diamond, so that's always fun. We're going to have a great crowd over there. Saturday is our first farmers market. They're in the parking area next to Dow Diamond, and so we always we have I think for the season we've got almost 80 vendors signed up, and runs through October on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and it's just 7 till 1, and we get a great people from all around the region coming there, and so we always enjoy that. We do our Midland Blooms up and down Eastman Road on Saturday, May 21st. We'll be out there first thing in the morning, and hopefully we'll be about 10 o'clock, but we'll have flowers up and down the whole intersection there of Eastman Road, all the way from down, almost downtown to the expressway. And that's fun because you get 500 volunteers. Businesses do it. They put together teams. They have tents. You'll see little kids with their parents. You'll see people on the other end of the age spectrum over there. And so that's just really a great community event. And certainly, as you well know, we're really excited about the Invitational, the Great Lakes Bay Invitational coming up in July. And, last year was great. We were all just happy to see each other. It was late in the season before they knew they could formally.
Yep.
And it's a go. And I think we're all really looking forward to that.
So as we look ahead, what do you want people to know about Midland?
I think what we've seen in terms of the last 2 years about Midland kind of shows, we all take pride in our communities as we should, but I really think, the city of modern explorers, and, what that meant 100 years ago, and, 1922, and what that means today is different in a lot of ways, but it's similar in other ways. I think it's a community that helps one another, that, really takes a hard look at issues and, tries to make sure when they make those decisions, really work together to solve problems, to do things that are innovative. And I think that's exciting. We've seen the transformation with Dow and the DuPont split, and, Dow is just a wonderful, continues to be a great community partner. And, they've done incredibly well the last couple of years. But now we also have DuPont having significant operations, Corteva, IFF, Trinzio, Cabot. My Michigan Health continues to grow and invest. And so it's exciting that we've got a lot of different partners who are investing here. And then, like I said, with the small business startups, you love to see that energy and that creativity.
I dare to ask this question: is the state giving you the kind of support you need?
It's a different world with the federal dollars that have come from the ARPA, one that I've never seen before, and I don't know that we'll ever see again. Hopefully, for the reason that it came, we never see it again. But it has been, when we talk about 4 lakes and rebuilding those dams. We've been able to work with our federal partners. We're trying to help on the infrastructure as well, and we're able to get assistance working with Congressman Molinar, Senator Stabenow, Senator Peters. And so they've been great partners. At the local level, the city and broadband, the county provided resources to have a person specifically focused on broadband. And, we knew it before the pandemic, but now it's just, that's one of the essentials. If we have that connectivity, we can, work around the world, kids can catch up on something they need to do. We can have telemedicine, but we have to have that connectivity.
All right. Well, Tony, listen, I thank you for your time as always. It's always interesting learning about the Alliance and what's happening.
Always enjoy it. I really appreciate you having us on.
All right. We'll talk to you down the road. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Art. Take care.
Bye-bye now. Tony Stamas, he is the head of the Midland Business Alliance. We thank him for his time and spending some of that time with us this morning. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it will be open phones for the remainder of the hour, whatever you'd like to chat about. We got a number of things to bring up too. All of that is ahead, and our number to call, 752-6111. That'll let you join the conversation. Back with more after these notes.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh and Associates for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Annette Glenn shares the values of families in mid-Michigan. American Conservative Union ranked Annette's voting record 6th most conservative in the state house. We need Annette fighting for families in the state senate. Paid for by Annette Glenn for state senate.
Get your car out of the garage and cleaned off this spring with 11% off automotive products at Menards. Turtle Wax Max Power Car Wash can provide for any car. The more you use, the stronger the cleaning power becomes. $4.99 after sale price and 11% rebate. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through May 8th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress that could stop the music. If passed, this bill would tax your local radio station simply to play the music you love. Text LOCAL to 52886 and ask Congress to support local radio stations. To the music, local news, weather, and traffic that you need each day. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The WS Show.
WSGW online poll, the U.S. Supreme Court leaked abortion draft. According to the leaked draft, the U.S. Supreme Court is positioned to overturn Roe v. Wade. If that happens, it would mean the decision on the right to abortion would be up to individual states.
Abortion is religion for the far left, and they are willing to do anything to defend that religion.
They want to bully anyone who seeks or provides reproductive health care.
Chief Justice Roberts issued the statement that confirms the authenticity of says it doesn't represent a final decision by the court or the final position of any member on the issue in this case. There is a ruling that's expected by the end of June. The poll question is, do you think the Supreme Court should overturn Roe v. Wade and return the decision on abortion to individual states? It's yes, it's no, it's I'm not sure. You can make your vote by going to WSW.com, scroll down the homepage, find the poll box, and vote that way.
The Morning Team Show, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW. This is the premier showroom and design center studios of WSGW.
All right, we are back with you on the Art Lewis Show, and as I indicated, open phones for the remainder of the hour, whatever you'd like to talk about. I have a couple of things. Got a press release yesterday from the Attorney General's office in Michigan, Dana Nessel. And here's the headline. A.G. Nessel calls for full cancellation of federal student loan debt. She joins with 7 or 8 other attorney generals from around the state, all blue states, by the way, and calls for this. Now, here's my issue. It's not the issue of student loan debt. We'll talk about that, but the issue is, why is the attorney general involved? Are there not more important things for the attorney general to do in a legal sense in the state? And I've seen this in other states, and I've seen this attorney general do it. She joins coalitions against this or for that and adds her voice. Okay. But there are some topics you have to say, what's that got to do with your job? Why does the attorney general need to call for full cancellation of federal student loan debt? Just seems to me to be out of the scope of what we put an attorney general in place for. Now, I realize a lot of attorney generals have represented the consumer, and in doing so, they have, in some ways, made life a lot better for the consumer. Who can forget Attorney General Frank Kelly, who went to bat for the consumer at every chance he had, and I understand that. But it just seems to me that in this particular issue, I don't understand the need for the Attorney General to get involved in it. Maybe that's just me, but I have another view of these student loans. Now, first of all, I think we as a nation need to figure out how we're going to provide higher education at an affordable cost. When I see schools with high price tags and at the same time huge endowment funds, I mean, obnoxiously big endowment funds, billions of dollars in some cases, I have to ask, why are your prices so high? And, you know, and we're saddling these young people with debt. It has changed over the years, and I've said this before. When I went to college, it was a long time ago, back in the late 50s, early 60s. My parents viewed it as a responsibility to send me to college. They took on the responsibility of paying for it through their own savings and through loans. I was not saddled with the debt when I came out of school. And part of what I did was worked part-time when I was in college. I worked for a public TV station for a while, so that I helped out by providing myself the pocket money I needed, and my parents worried about the educational side. That's changed. Now, I know there's educational trust funds out there, and parents do participate, and many parents have the responsibility, and they live up to it, and they send their youngsters to college, and they pay for it. But far more today are letting their youngsters go to college and come out with enormous debts. So that has to be fixed. And I think it starts with the colleges and universities and how they price themselves and what they do with their endowments and all of that. But at the same time, I also say, you borrowed it. You owe it. You borrowed it because they offered you an attractive student loan rate. You took advantage of it. And now you owe it. It's time to pay the piper. I do not see how we can forgive $1.5 trillion of student loan debt, because that's what she's asking for. Complete forgiveness. Anyone with student loan debt, you're done. No debt. So what do? Keep doing that? Because at the same time you're doing that, new students are getting new debt, and a few years from now, we'll be right back in the same boat again. I don't understand it. So I just thought I'd toss that out there. and see what comes of it, so to speak. It is something that needs to be dealt with. I think it needs to be dealt with on a federal level, since the feds were the ones that first put out this guarantee, if you will, for student loans. But I don't understand. But that's just my view. There are other views. Like, for example, I can almost guarantee that my colleague Pat Johnston would like to chime in on this issue.
I'm with you. I think that there's a lot that has to be re-examined, especially with, I think, how universities are spending money. I think they got into this race of attracting students, this recruiting race, so they had to have the best suites instead of just a dorm room. It's amazing. When I was, the luxury I had when I was in was that we had a line for cable. And now it's so much different.
Well, you were ahead of me. We didn't have that back in.
But that was the big thing. Whoa, wow, man! We don't have to go down to the community television anymore. Is that we could actually everybody could stay in their rooms and watch some cable television?
You're exactly right, because when I went, we had a, for lack of a better term, it was a commons area in the dormitory building. You went up to your room. Your room was nothing more than a room. As a matter of fact, you didn't have a bathroom in your room. You had a common facility,
right?
Within, maybe 10 rooms used or whatever. That was life in the dorms, and you had a roommate, and heaven forbid you had a roommate that was messy or whatever. But
that may have been me.
Maybe me too. I don't know. But you know what I mean. It wasn't the life of Riley. You were there to do something. You were there to learn.
Right. And all that started really changing, I think, when I was in college, I think, around the 80s, 90s. I think that's when...
You're responsible for this then.
I don't think... not me personally, but I think that's just really when it all started. And another thing, though, I will say, when it comes to the price of college, we as a country back, especially after World War II, we invested in education. And through the years... state by state has been cutting back on higher education spending as years have gone on. So what they decided to do then was, all right, now it's going to be more tuition based. So that made it more expensive for those who are going there now. And so I think that whenever I talk to somebody who went to college back in the 60s or 70s, I always tell them, I'm like, look, I'm the last. I think my generation was the last where my parents, they were able to pay for my college. I still had a job, but they were able to pay for my college. It was still relatively affordable for them to do such. In the 2000s, that all game changed completely. And then you had all these predatory lenders. You have these for-profit colleges that really sell everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people were sold a bill of goods that weren't true. And these kids are saddled with all kinds of debt. And I look at it this way, Art, it hurts our economy because these kids are spending their time trying to pay off debt rather than actually helping out with our overall economy. They're not able to buy a house. They're not able to buy a car.
Oh, I agree.
So I think I'm with you. And I just want to let you know, I'm with you in that if you forgive all these loans, well, then what? Because we're just going to we got to do something.
You
find a way to cut back on the loans to help these kids with the loans,
but
then also change it so that way we're not in the same cycle over and over and over again.
Yeah, you touched on something important. That's the state contribution to the universities, particularly the state colleges and universities.
Right.
At one time here in Michigan, it was something like 78 to 80% of the budget came out of the state. Now it's in the 20% range. And the rest has to be made up by the college and universities. So they do it through, I can remember the days when the state was threatening colleges and universities. They're cutting their budget on one hand and telling them they can't raise tuition on the other hand. That didn't work. That can't work. And it has forced the colleges and universities to figure out ways to make whatever they need to make to be in business. But then again, I do question some of the things colleges and universities do with their money and how necessary it is.
Absolutely. That's what I said. Yeah, I think you can look at it on how things have been cut by government through the years, but also what are the priorities that universities are using and spending? And I think that they are also to blame for some of this. No doubt about it.
All right.
Thank you.
Well,
Hey,
we're going to end in total agreement. Let me write that down. On May 5th, Pat and Art totally agree. Okay. We'll take a break. And,
thank you, sir. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks a lot, Pat. We'll be back with more.
So what's the most exciting part of playing Millions Cash Payout, the new instant game series from the Michigan Lottery?
It's the cash.
Maybe it's having 4 brand new tickets to play.
No, it's the cash.
Or maybe the tickets are from $2 to $20.
It's the cash.
And they have little stars on them.
I'm telling you, it's the cash.
Of course, with top prizes up to $2 million and over $155 million in total. Pretty exciting, too.
You think?
Play new Millions Cash Payout.
And put some cash play in your day.
Knowing your limits is always the best bet.
The CFOs that get it, get it. The CFOs that don't. Behold the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. This isn't some bean counter. Today's CFO is critical to the strategy, growth, and profitability of the business. But in growing companies, there are 2 kinds of CFOs. One who's struggling to keep up with spreadsheets everywhere, manual processes, errors, and lack of visibility into the numbers. And one who's on top of their game. Automated reports, inventory, e-commerce, and HR flow into the financial model seamlessly. Insights coming with the click of a button. This CFO uses NetSuite by Oracle with visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, and budgeting. NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place. That's why NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system used by over 29,000 growing businesses. Like I said, the CFOs that get it, get it. The CFOs that don't. Head to netsuite.com/radar for a special one-of-a-kind. netsuite.com/radar. netsuite.com/radar.
These days, it's getting harder and harder to find savings. But you may have more cash than you realize in your home's equity. Unlock it today with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage. In the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. That means you could unlock thousands of dollars from your home. And with Rocket, cash in as little as 3 weeks. Put your hard-earned money to work. Pay down high-interest debt and combine your balances into one simple, low monthly payment. Now is your perfect opportunity to take control of your financial future. So what are you waiting for? When you want to consolidate debt and simplify your finances, Rocket can. Call 8338-ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
Hustle up. We've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Rob tried to manage his constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating day after day. After realizing it was irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, he found another way and finally said yes to adding Linzess.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, the Biden administration says it has no idea how the border crisis got going. Is that true what you just said, David?
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 7 WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, and let's get back to our phones. Raul is in Saginaw. Raul, good morning.
Hi, Art. I was going to call in on Roe versus Wade, but I'm going to wait on that one a little bit. I was when I was in law school, I got called on that and was grilled for 15 minutes. But we'll talk about that. What I wanted to talk about, when I went past the radio, I have in my hand from the University of Michigan a statement of account for my tuition in January 72. Tuition for the whole semester, $330.
Huh?
Room and board, $634.98. So that came for a total of $964.98.
That was the University of Michigan?
The
Wow.
University of Michigan. And now remember, that's just one, so I had to double that for a full year.
Sure, right. Yeah.
And the thing about this is, and it probably cost me upwards of $20 to $25 in books too.
Right.
So I'm not, this was a little different, but we'd go back and most of us did. We worked at the foundry or at Steering Gear for a good union wage of $4.38 an hour, and I would work overtime, end up paying for all of this room and board and tuition. So we'd work all summer, and I'd have $200-300 left at the end of summer.
Mm-hmm.
I was a rich man.
Yeah.
And all of my, the bottom line is all of the tuition you work during the summertime, different than it is today.
Well, I have to believe that the rate of tuition far exceeded the rate of inflation.
Oh, I mean, look at the
Astronomically.
tuition, 1972, $330. Oh,
Yeah.
and the interesting part about it is anything over 17 credits was free.
Really?
Yeah. So,
yeah. Different times.
Different times, different places, 600 third floor. We
yeah.
didn't have any of that fancy television.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Rabbit ears out
I
there.
didn't either. All right, my friend.
All right.
Appreciate
See
the
you later.
input. Thanks. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Janet is in Saginaw. Janet, good morning.
Good morning. Just a couple of quick points to add. First, the programs that some students borrowed on were at 11% interest, at the expectation that if they graduated in a nonprofit or inner city teaching or something that would be low income, that the loans would be forgiven. But they aren't being forgiven. And I know of a person who graduated with $30,000 loan who now owes 90-some thousand because of the compounding of the interest. Wow. And further, I got through University of Michigan a 4-year degree on campus for less than $10,000 and had enough left to buy a car.
Yeah. Times have changed, Janet.
The whole loan thing, I think, is usury. And
Well,
the government does control that.
It certainly has turned into that. I remember in the early days, it was a very low interest, low cost loan. And then you got the predator loaners out there, and it became a different ballgame. And you're right. I mean, you look at these people saddled with these huge debts, half of it's interest, and makes no sense. And then they didn't live up to the promises either. So what are you going to do? I mean, something needs to be done. But I don't know that simply wiping the slate clean of $1.5 trillion is the right answer. I don't have the right answer. Let's put it that way. I think we have to, at the same time, we have to figure a way to get some relief. At the same time, we also have to teach responsibility.
Well, and valuing education, I've given up something so I could help my grandchildren through college.
Well, there you go.
And I mean, they're working hard too.
Yep, absolutely.
Not just to maintain being able to be there.
Yeah.
But I think something definitely needs to be done on, and it probably will take the federal level since they control it.
Yeah. All right. Good enough, Janet. Thank you. Appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
Have a
one.
good-
Bye-bye now. You too. Last call is going to be Errol. Good morning, Errol.
You try having a nun with a 3-sided ruler in her side pocket. Anyway, hey, 13 grades of that fun lady. But anyways, I got a new subject I want to talk about.
All right, real quick, got about a minute.
If you were to pick a music venue around here, which one is the worst one? The Ojibwe Island, and the city wants to spend some money. It's about time that they updated Ojibwe Island's Band Shell area and rebuild that completely, and they can pattern it right after Bay City, because we're competing against Midland and Bay City for entertainment. This would increase the restaurants and everything else. So they're looking for ideas of what to spend $26 million.
So you would take part of that ARCA money for that?
Ojibwe.
Yeah, I'd support that. I'd support that.
I think everyone
All right.
would, because I think it would be great. So
Got to run, but thanks, Earl. Appreciate it. We'll talk
Okay.
more about that, though. It's a
Bye-bye.
good
Yep.
topic.
Thank
We'll be back to close out.
For almost 20 years, Linex has been the only place to go for quality spray-on bed liner. But did you know they also offer rust-proofing and undercoating?
Their exclusive process will keep your new or used vehicle protected.
The guys at Linex have the only wax-based rust-proofing and military-spec undercoat to ensure years of protection.
In fact, all new vehicles protected will get a lifetime warranty. No yearly touch-ups required.
Process is wax-based. You won't have any long-term dripping or mess to clean up later. Rust-proof your car, truck, or SUV and protect it year-round.
Linex is located on Wilder Road in Bay City.
Give them a call at 989-671-9820 or call them at their Grand Blanc location, 810-695-9000.
Remember, your new car, truck, or SUV gets a lifetime warranty with no yearly touch-up required.
Again, the number in Bay City is 989-671-9820 or in Grand Blanc, 810-695-9000.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term. Yes. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with deals like our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month and no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for $249, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for the Frankenmuth Aerial Park. You are going to get a 2-hour session at the Frankenmuth Aerial Park for only $21. It's usually getting it half off. This includes a 2-hour weekday or weekend session. And it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a pro. There is a course level that's going to fit you. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Tom Sullivan, weeknights at 7 on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Art Lewis Show. Back tomorrow, of course, with lots more. Stick around for Focus. That will come along after the news from CBS and the local report, bringing you up to date on the region and the state. And then on Focus today, we will talk to someone from Auburn about their community outreach. All of that is ahead right after the news.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. The World Health Organization says a lot more people have died due to the COVID pandemic than the official figure of 6 million. CBS's Dr.
People killed directly by the coronavirus or were impacted by an overwhelmed healthcare system that couldn't care for things like their heart disease, cancer, etc. That number was 15 million.
A COVID outbreak has dozens of people quarantined on a Carnival cruise ship docked now in Seattle. Darren Sievertson is among those who tested positive.
Unfortunately, this ship was so unprepared and so mismanaged that many of us suffered greatly.
Carnival confirmed the outbreak but has not provided specifics. They're assessing damage today in the Oklahoma tornado tossed things up yesterday. Teacher Tiffany Coker rode things out with her family and others at a school in Seminole.
As the storm hit, it seemed like it lasted forever, and it started to pull the vault door open. My husband and my 15-year-old son held the vault door shut as the tornado was going over.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been deadly for Moscow's top brass. CBS's Cammie McCormick at the Pentagon.
A U.S. memo specifically bars U.S. intelligence from targeting specific personnel. That would include Russian generals. But the U.S. is providing intelligence, and that could include information on command posts where Russian generals might be located. The New York Times have killed as many as 12 Russian generals, but it isn't clear how many of them may have died due to U.S. intelligence.
In Alabama, authorities say the jail employee accused of helping an inmate escape had visited him several times in prison.
It's obvious she participated in this, and my guess would be that she probably orchestrated the whole thing.
Sheriff Rick Singleton.
Eventually, somebody's going to see them, and it is going to be them. And that's how we're going to probably catch them.
In the face of book banning efforts in some communities and schools, the public library in Nashville, Tennessee is launching a program to make sure those books are available. Spokesman Ed Brown.
A lot of people don't want to read these books, have to read these books, or forced to read these books, and that's fine. But there are a lot of people who do, and we want to be there for the people who do want to read these materials.
A new filing indicates Elon Musk has scared up more than $7 billion in commitments from a host of investors, and he's in ongoing talks with others, including the former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, as he tries to buy Twitter. Wall Street right now, the Dow is down 846 points. NASDAQ is down 517. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on.
We're proud for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
You know, every 3 seconds there is a new victim of identity theft. A criminal could be applying for loans in your name on the dark web. Now, protecting your identity can be very easy thanks to LifeLock by Norton. No one company can prevent all identity theft or monitor every transaction of every business, but LifeLock, it's simple and easy to protect yourself, and you'll save up to 25% off your first year when you go to LifeLock.com or call 1-800-LifeLock. Just use the promo code Hannity.
These days, it's getting harder and harder to find savings, but you may have more cash than you realize in your home's equity. Unlock it today with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage. In the last year, average home values %. That means you could unlock thousands of dollars from your home. And with Rocket Mortgage, you could get all that cash in as little as 3 weeks. Put your hard-earned money to work. Pay down high-interest debt and combine your balances into one simple, low monthly payment. Now is your perfect opportunity to take control of your financial future. So what are you waiting for? When you want to consolidate debt and simplify your finances, Rocket can. Call 8338-ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. Rocket. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and unless consumeraccess.org number 3030. Call 8 for disclosures and cost information.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
It's 50 degrees at 11:05. Good morning. I'm Lynn Williams. Clare Police and Michigan State Police are investigating after a fatal shooting during a home invasion. Clare police officers were responding to a reported home invasion on McEwen Street about 6 this morning when they heard gunshots coming from inside. Police say their initial investigation indicates the homeowner causing fatal injuries. Neither the homeowner nor the officer were hurt. Police say it appears to be an isolated incident and there's no threat to the public. Experts say the 2020 failure of 2 dams on a Michigan river was foreseeable and preventable. A 5-member panel appointed by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission released a report Wednesday. It says the disaster resulted from flaws in the design and construction of the Edenville Dam in the 1920s, along with operation and maintenance shortcomings over the years. The dam on the Tittabawassee River in central Michigan collapsed in 2020. It released a torrent that overtopped the downstream Sanford Dam and flooded the city of Midland. Thousands of people were evacuated and 150 homes were destroyed, with damages exceeding $200 million. A Mount Morris Township woman was arraigned in Genesee County yesterday on a single count of second-degree child abuse after nearly 20 students at Edgerton Elementary School became ill with suspected THC. Prosecutors say Melinda Gatka did not properly secure gummy candies. She infused sea oil, which her 6-year-old child took to school and shared with classmates last Friday. Around 1 p.m., the students began feeling nauseous, short of breath, lightheaded, and dizzy. 4 of the students were hospitalized, but all have since recovered. If convicted, Gattaca could spend up to 10 years in prison. She's currently out on a $25,000 bond and is prohibited from keeping marijuana products, or alcohol in her home. She must also undergo random drug testing. WSGW News Time is 11:07.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a Roof Max shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money, guaranteed with Roof Max, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
The Eta Upsilon Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated presents their 38th annual Hats Off to Mom celebration, excellence and elegance in the Emerald City. Saturday, May 7th at 11 a.m. to be held virtually with keynote speaker Carrie J. Clark, Great Lakes Regional Director of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. The presentation of local scholarships, the Mother of the Year and Soar of the Year awards, raffle, and much more. Ticket price is $60, and all the proceeds will benefit local scholarships and community service projects. Visit facebook.com/AKA Eta Upsilon Omega chapter for more details.
WSGW News Time is 11:08. Police arrested a man in Monitor Township last Friday for allegedly masturbating in front of children at a park. It happened at Monitor Township Park at 4585 3 Mile Road around 1:50 p.m. A witness told police a white minivan pulled into the park and a man opened the vehicle's sliding door. He allegedly could be seen touching himself in view of 4 or 5 children. The witness was able to get the number of the vehicle. A 26-year-old man driving the minivan was pulled over and arrested about 30 minutes later at 8 Mile and Seidlers. He is being charged with 1 count of aggravated indecent exposure, though a formal complaint is pending. In the event of an active shooter or other danger at a school, a Michigan state representative is sponsoring a bill that would revise the school code to cooperate with local law enforcement. State Representative Mike Mueller testified about his bill before the Government Operations Committee.
Basically what it does is it's a mapping system and set up in a grid type system for first responders that are responding to a critical active shooters and that sort of nature. Having background in law enforcement and a former SWAT team member, going to these things can be very hectic and unorganized, and lines of communication can break down very easily in the high stress situations.
Mueller says it's not a mandate, but offers a new way of addressing a school threat. The Dow Event Center is 50 years old today, built in 1972 at a cost of... It was first known as the Saginaw Civic Center and later the Saginaw County Event Center. Although the Dow Chemical Company was awarded naming rights in 2004, Saginaw County owns the Dow Event Center, which is managed by ASM Global. Over the years, it's hosted events of all kinds and houses the Saginaw Spirit Hockey Club. It brings more than 250,000 people to downtown Saginaw each year. The Dow Event Center donates more than $16,000 in event tickets annually to assist local. More than $545,000 since 2010. Many Saginaw County nonprofits also sell concessions and assist with parking. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom, 752-0790. It's 11:10. I'm Ann Williams.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology forecast. Partial sunshine develops here for today with a high into the mid-60s, winds out of the east around 5 to 10 miles per hour, and then 4 to 9 low around 45. Friday, mostly cloudy, high around 62 degrees. Then by Saturday, mostly sunny sky conditions, high around 60. Sunday, sunshine, high around 67. Then by Monday, partly sunny sky conditions, high around 74. Tuesday, sunshine, high of 82. And Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 83. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 54.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
And welcome to another edition of Focus on WSGW. I'm Art Lewis from my second on Spirit Home studio, and our program brought to you by RoofMax, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find about it online at RoofMax. That's GetRoofMax.com. GetRoofMax.com. Or call Ben at 989-859-6751. RoofMax, spelt with 2 X's. And today we're going to talk about happenings in the great community of Auburn. And with us from Auburn to talk about it and provide the outreach from the city of Auburn, we say good morning to Robin Devereaux Nelson. Robin, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
We're doing well, thanks. So how is Auburn doing?
Well, we have a lot of exciting things coming up. And last time I was on, you asked me about the race, which, as you know, is going to be the first professional disc golf course in Bay County.
Yep.
Well, if you're a disc golfer and you are curious about what that property looks like, on Saturday, May 14th at 9 a.m., we are hosting a work day, and we're going to work on establishing those trails in the park. So if you're a disc golfer and you want to help us get those trails established, bring your boots, bring your appetite. We're going to provide some eats for our workers, our volunteers. And that park is located just 3 miles north of Auburn. It's off Auburn 9 Mile Road. So you'll see Lagoon Drive. It's between Wilder and Wheeler. It's on the east side of 9 Mile Road. It's a little windy road. You're going to want to drive in there. And we're going to put a group together to work that day. And we're really aiming at our opening for end of August or September this year. So we're very excited.
It's an interesting project. What brought it about?
Well, I think that Bay County was trying for a long time to establish a disc golf range somewhere in the county. And it had been kind of going back and forth for some years, and this 25-acre parcel of land, and we saw that as a perfect opportunity and reached out to the Bay Area Community Foundation, and they have generously donated money. They've granted us money so that we could build that park. So it's going to be a multi-use, multi-season park. So there's also a wonderful sledding hill that's already built there. So next winter, you'll be able to take the kiddies out there for some sledding, some cross-country skiing and snowshoeing. It's just going to be a wonderful place. You can bring your dog out there and walk your pets. So use multi-seasonal.
Is there just out of curiosity, is there a place online to see maybe a rendering of what it's going to look like?
Well, I need to tell you, we are rebuilding our website right now, but on the old website, which is still up, there is a small little video on there. You can click on that, and it kind of shows you, there is a map, etc., and all the exciting things that are going to take place out at that property.
All right, let's move on to some of the other properties, like the one right off of US 10 that everybody sees all the time. What's happening?
Well, yes, we have a ton of things going on there. We're kicking off our season. So May 19, 20, and 21, the Auburn Lions Williams Club is hosting treasure hunt days as they do every year. So if you love rummage sales, you love that secondhand shopping for your treasures, come out. And then on the 21st of May, Treasure Hunt Days is going to be moving under our Grand Pavilion in Auburn Park, and they are going to be under there with our first lawn and garden extravaganza. So we have folks like New Edge Sharpening coming out. So if you want to get your garden tools sharpened, saws, hoes, whatever, bring them out. These guys even sharpen pinking shears. So bring your things out to get sharpened. Artisans Landscaping is going to be there, and Joe's Taco Truck from Sombrero Joe's in Saginaw is going to be our food vendor that day. It's our first time with Sombrero Joe's, and we're really excited to see him out there.
Sounds like fun. I got to take a break. Hang on. We'll come back, talk more about the activities happening in Auburn with Robin when we return.
At Wildfire Credit Union, loan rates are low and cash is back. Borrow for the things you want. Credit cards, or refinance a loan and watch your monthly payments go down. We have members who save thousands of dollars. You can save too and get cash back. It's coming back, round again. Cash is back. Tell a friend. It's easy to open a new loan or move an existing one to Wildfire. Just call, click, or come by any Wildfire branch in Saginaw, Midland, or Bay City and ask for cash back now through the end of August. We've got solutions for your borrowing needs. Enjoy the things you want. Save money with lower monthly payments. Plus, get cash back. It's coming back, round again. Cash is back. Tell a friend. It's coming. Wildfire Credit Union. Distinctively better. Cash is back. Tell a friend. New loans only, subject to credit approval, equal housing lender.
As a parent, you know kids are amazing and expensive. But with Fabric, protecting your family with term life insurance is surprisingly affordable with a personalized policy for your family starting at less than $1 a day. It's quick, and you could be approved instantly. Plus, no risk, cancel anytime. Secure your family's financial future today at meetfabric.com/future. That's MEET fabric.com/future. Fabric Insurance Agency policies issued by Vantis Life. Not available in New York and Montana. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
How do you make the most of your land? If you ask the Wrens, who run with us on a John Deere mower, they tell you,
I mow first, then I do all the trimming.
But the Hubbards, who work behind the wheel of the John Deere compact tractor, would say,
if it's something you want, just go after it and try it.
Then there's the Mosers, who they mention from the seat of their John Deere Gator UTV.
You can't be all work and not play.
There are millions of ways to learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Why would you pay full price when you know you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? Check out our deals going on right now from Salon Blue, Day Spa and Boutique, 120 Fitness, Uplift Creative Center, Woody's Hot Dogs, Wonder Burger, and King's Fish and more. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You know you can hear my outdoor magazine show Sunday mornings, 9 till noon on WSGW. But now there's another option. Saturday morning, 6 till 9. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information, hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center Studios, you are listening to 100.5 and 790 WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, talking to Robin Devereaux Nelson from Auburn about the various activities and things happening in Auburn. You mentioned the big sale coming up in May. What else is happening?
On Memorial Day, the Great Lakes Bay Veterans Coalition will be hosting a 22-mile ruck then. So a ruck is a run wearing your rucksack on your back, so you're carrying some weight. This is an annual event, and the 22 miles represents the 22 veterans who take their lives every day. So the event starts at Auburn Park, and it follows a 22-mile route around the city. It ends back in the park. The ruck is And for those who don't think they're ready for the 22 miles, there's going to be an 11-mile option. They also have several support vehicles along the way and some support teams that are committed to the ruck a few miles through the course. There's going to be a small kickoff ceremony at the beginning of the event, and they're going to recognize veterans who took their lives at the mile markers. So all funds raised go to Blue Star Service Dogs. These folks provide service dogs to veterans who are experiencing PTSD and TBI.
What a good cause. What a good cause.
It's an awesome cause. Awesome.
So there are opportunities for people who can't run or don't want to run to volunteer and help out.
Yes, there are, of course. You can contact the Great Lakes Bay Veterans Coalition.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so let me ask, let's move out of the park just for a minute here.
Okay.
How's Main Street America doing? Because that's what I look at Auburn as, you know.
It is kind of Main Street America. And, you know, I was taking a look at our list of businesses in the great little city of Auburn. And, you know, something that small cities are not normally known for are arts and culture businesses. And we have 4 standouts for sure in the city of Auburn, which is kind of amazing for a population of 2,000 folks. So we have Village Glass. Those folks offer classes and also sell all kinds of glass works. You can learn how to blow glass there. You can learn how to do stained glass. It's really fun. Yes, it's super fun. And the folks that own it are really nice. We have Clary's Custom Framing. They're located right along the main. We also have Purple Palette. So those folks have arts and craft opportunities to learn. And Harbor Light Photography as well. These guys take beautiful, not just senior portraits and wedding portraits, but I mean, all kinds of beautiful photography. So those are 4 arts just a small city. So I think that's pretty amazing.
The other thing amazing is some pretty good food up there.
Yes, there is some pretty good food up there. We have O's, of course. They have a wonderful bill of fare there and all kinds of craft beers, etc.
Have you ever been to their steak night? Ooh.
I have not been to their steak night.
It's wonderful.
My husband's a musician, so he's played there a lot, and he has been to steak night, and he made me very jealous when he was drooling and talking to me about their steak night. So yes, we also have Noni's Restaurant.
Right.
So a family atmosphere, also nice bill of fare, and very nice folks to wait on you and take care of you while you're there. And then, of course, we have all of our fast foods at the edge of town, too. So if you're in a hurry, on your way to work or home from work in Midland, or on your way to Bay City, you can stop through at one of our fast foods right there off US 10.
Always a lot to do in Auburn. Anything you want to leave us with? What else?
There is. So I did want to talk about the farm market that is opening June 14th.
Okay.
We're going to be open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2:30 to 5:30. Now, June 14th is a special day because we've partnered with the Bay County for hosting their summer reading program kickoff. So there's going to be tons of stuff for families and kids to do that day, lots of giveaways, games to play. And the kicker is our vendors are going to be there. So you can come and shop for your fresh vegetables and fruits at our market. We do accept SNAP this year, so we're really excited about that we can offer those food assistance opportunities to families in the Great Lakes Bay region.
Fantastic. Well, Robin, I know we'll talk again, and hopefully just before the markets maybe, or sometime there around, and remind everybody again, thanks for being with us today, as always.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And let me ask it just in the last question, is there a website people can go to for more information?
Yes, you can go to auburnmi.org. Now, please be advised that we are updating our website, so it might be a little glitchy right now, but a new, beautiful website is going to appear very shortly, and you're going to love it.
All right. Robin, we'll talk to you again. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Art. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye now. Robin Devereaux Nelson from Auburn. Lots going on in that little community, a little gem in the Great Lakes Bay region. And we'll be back to close out after these notes.
Let me tell you about the lumberjack. It's that time of year for y'all grizzly